Yo, what's up, everybody? Um, Welcome back to another video. Um, I know it's been a week or so or I don't really remember how long it's been since we've last spoken, but I'm back for today's video. Today's video, I'm gonna be just going over a few things, um, specifically that have to do with Fortnite Creative. As you guys can see that I'm playing right now. Um, so uh, don't mind me. I'm working on a big map here, as you can see. It is unreleased. Um, it's called Crazy City, as I am TCO, or the crazy one. Um, oh my god, I got rid of more mountains! Bruh. Are we for real? Are we for real? Bruh. Bro. Okay. Anyways. I'm gonna have to fix these fucking mountains at some point. Uh, or honestly, I could just drop this and we'll put something else here instead. Honestly. But um, there's a lot that I plan to do with this map. Um, this used to be something, now it is no longer something. Um, but anyways, I have some ideas for Fortnite. So Epic Games, if you are watching this, please get out your notebook and jot down some of these ideas I'm about to say. And some of these ideas are ones that I think most of us can think off the top of our head. And I mean ideas that I can think off the top of my head. I mean like ideas and sort of kind of arguments, if you will. Um, but the first thing that is on my mind for creative is I would think probably a big topic within the creative community. Um, and it has to do a lot with Marvel. Um, um, I'm going to probably tag one of my good friends, Mustard. I don't know him personally, but I he's he's a guy that I've been watching a lot of Fortnite creative stuff on, and like the updates and stuff. Because I'll typically just go to him before I um, experiment with anything myself. So shout out to you, Mustard Plays, if you are watching. Um, and then there's some others that I watch as well. I won't say their names because I kind of forget half of them. Um, but Mustard Plays is like my main one. Um, and um, I'm sure most of us probably know how there is the different kind of starter templates, I'm sorry, island templates for the creative, for creative, with being sort of crossovers, right, that they've done in the past and that they have done recently. Being K-pop Demon Hunters. Why is that one here exactly? Epic, you want to explain that? Like, nobody cares. Like, nobody is going to make islands from the K-pop Demon Hunter island. Like, sure, the weapons are cool. Like, the Rumi sword is, like, that's actually pretty cool. But, like, nobody's going to build islands with those. Like, come on. Like, give us something else. The Star Wars island, which was actually added, I believe a few months ago. Yeah, a while ago was added, so it's been here for, a decent bit. And I believe it is still getting updates. That island is still, I'm sorry, that template is still being expanded on by Epic. As of today, I believe they still have ideas and things to put in that island. And can you fall, please? Thank you. I spent like 5 minutes trying to destroy this thing. It's crazy. And let's see, what else was there? Oh, TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe there was one more as well. Oh, there's Fall Guys. That's been in here for, I'd say, a year or so. Maybe a little over. But I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. Oh, and Walking Dead. Trying to get rid of all these real quick, guys, and then I'll continue yapping. Get rid of this stupid thing. There we go. Okay, we're good. As I was saying, what if we got an island template for Marvel? Okay, now I feel like this would be one of the more controversial topics within the creative community. I'm sure I am not the only person to mention this and bring it up. I'm sure Mustard have brought it up. Sorry, Mustard Plays has brought it up. Jesus Christ. I'm sure he's brought it up in maybe not in his videos publicly, but I'm sure maybe he's, said something about it elsewhere. Maybe to Fortnite themselves, or, I'm sure he's said something about it. And, I'm sure me and him aren't the only people who have said something about it, and people who want it. Because what Fortnite could and there is, like, you gotta understand that Fortnite has gone through 2 Marvel seasons. One of them being a full season, being, I think it was Chapter 2. I forget what season it was back in Chapter 2. Pretty sure it was called Nexus War. It was in Chapter 2. I don't exactly remember what season exactly, but it was in Chapter 2. I know that. I want to say it was either Chapter 3 Season 2 or Chapter 2 Season 4 that they did it. But it's in there. So if someone wants to Google that and let me know in the comments, because I'm very forgetful, you can go ahead and do that. But, like, again, what I was saying before I kind of got off topic, there is so much potential for a Marvel Creative Island template. Again, we have gone through 2 Marvel seasons, one of them being a sort of mini season. Again, like I said, the one season, which was a full season, back in Chapter 2, and the most recent one being Chapter uh, 5 season, what was that, 4? So, being called Absolute Doom, being the most, I would say it's actually less recent now, but it's, still a little recent. Um, and from what I can see about each season, and from what I've seen in gameplay, there is so much that they could give us. They could give us each individual POI. I mean, that's kind of obvious. They give us each POI, Marvel themed POI, that's been added as a prefab, right? Which, again, that's kind of obvious because I think, I mean, they've done that with literally everything else. So every main POI that's ever been in the game. So like the original Stark Industries. What else? Doomstat, right, where Mysterio was. Um, Castle Doom, the newer one, not the old one that was in Greasy Grove. I find it kind of funny too. If they did the newer Castle Doom, it would take up a shit ton of memory because how big that thing is. Or I'm sorry, how big it was. Um, and it would take up, honestly, I would say it would take up a solid chunk of the map. Um, well, if you're on this kind of map, then it would take up a solid chunk of it for sure. Um, so I find that very funny. Um, there's Doomstat again, as I mentioned. Um, but what else? What else was there? The old Doctor Doom POI back in Greasy Grove during the first Marvel season. At least I think it was in Greasy Grove, I believe. Um, oh, what else is there? There was the Daily Bugle, right? They added that whenever Doctor Strange was added. So that same season, they added the Daily Bugle as a place on the map. I believe Daily Bugle was somewhere in Tilted Towers or whatever. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, wherever it was, but they added it, so that's in there. Another prefab that I would love, or I'm sorry, POI that I would love to see being brought into the Fortnite universe is Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. That that freaking behemoth of a sort of mansion, if you call it, is honestly probably one of the more iconic, I wouldn't say most iconic, but I would say it was definitely one of the more recognizable um, places within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, um, MCU for short. Um, it's definitely very recognizable, um, and I mean it's the home of one of the most powerful Marvel heroes, um, being Doctor Strange. And I guess Wong, too, if you wanted to count Wong, even though that Wong is not even, like, I'm not even, I was talking about Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange only. Wong can get out of here, bro. Okay, Wong is, I mean, he's not Doctor Strange, obviously. Um, he is cool and he's funny from clips and things that I've seen from uh, movies and things that he is in, that he's appeared in. Um, but I mean, Doctor Strange is well obvious. I mean, um, and actually, there is something that I need to mention that could also be put into a um, creative Marvel Island template. Um, so we're gonna take a trip back to Absolute Doom, and um, a direct feature from Absolute Doom that could be put into a Marvel Creative Island template. It was a big mechanic. I don't think they put it in. I believe halfway through the season. Um, that's when they added it, I believe. was about halfway into the season. Um, for those of you that might be able to assume what I'm talking about, um, good. If you don't, then I'm referring to the Isle of Doom, which was basically just the floating island. Um, sorry, the loot island that had a rare chance of spawning. Um, so you could either get the normal loot floating island in your game, which was a more common chance, or you could get the rare chance of it being the Isle of Doom. Now, what was cool about the Isle of Doom was that in the center of it, the top center of the island, was that there was a kind of different flag mechanic. You had to capture the central point, and from there, you got to interact with, I believe it was some kind of cauldron, and it turned you into Doctor Doom. Like your skin completely changed into Doctor Doom. And you were taller. You became taller than the average Fortnite character. I believe you came twice as tall than the average Fortnite character. Maybe a little less. Um, yeah, twice the size of the average Fortnite character, if not maybe a little less. Um, and you got some abilities while you had the Doctor Doom power active. You had a ground slam. You could jump, and you would jump so high that it would seem like you're flying. Um, and uh, you had the bomb that the gauntlets gave you. That I believe dealt more damage than the actual gauntlets did. Um, and you got a crazy little beam attack. Um, and then I believe you also got the basic, um, like blasts that the gauntlets gave you, I believe, as well. Um, so it was pretty broken. I never got to use it, um, but some people were lucky and they got to use it. So if you're one of those people, um, I, you know, I'm proud of you that you were able to use it. Um, but people like me weren't so lucky. Um, and they could totally throw that into a Fortnite Creative um, island template as a maybe either a prefab or a whole device, right? Um, Also, speaking of floating island, we don't have the newer floating island as a prefab. We have the old one, the old Kevin floating island, but we don't have the newer floating island. Um, Epic Games, where is it? We should have gotten it by now. We should have gotten it in the last update of Chapter 5, honestly. Um, but we don't have it. And I'm very, very sad that we don't have it. So hopefully we can get that changed to where we do have it. Um, and we could get and also the amount of Marvel mythics and weapons and things that have been added into Fortnite, such as the Doctor Doom Arcane Gauntlets, um, Iron Man's combat kit, the flight kit, War Machine's arsenal, the turret, I forget what it was called, the auto turret, I believe, um, the hover jets, um, uh, what else was there? Um, a Groot's ball or whatever. Silver Surfer surfboard. Um, Captain America's shield, Hawkeye's bow, um, Stormbreaker, right? Um, I mean, like the list goes on, right? So we could get all those added into creative, and that would be super, super cool. Um, and also, um, with um, the newer hero device in the Star Wars island, that's the only island where it's accessible, for some reason. Um, you could bring that device into the Marvel template, right? And you could give us, um, quote, heroes and or quote villains. You could give us all sorts of Marvel characters in that. So you could give us Iron Man, you could give us Captain America, you could give us Doctor Doom, you could give us, uh, honestly, maybe even Nick Fury, right? Um, Trying to think. Maybe we could get Wolverine, right? Maybe Magneto. Oh yeah, I forgot about Magneto's freaking gauntlets or whatever that they had it during Rect. I forgot about that. But yeah, those would be cool to also be put into the Marvel thing. And the guard spawners. Okay, guard spawners are very crucial here. Um, we get just the guard spawner, and you put every single character cosmetic or skin that has ever been in Fortnite, whether that be the Battle Pass or the item shop, um, inside of the um, guard spawner. And something that is needed for that, I feel like, um, is that you can allow those guards in that template to be put into DBNO, or the down but not out state, or as people, sorry, or as others call it, being knocked. Um, because obviously in the first few days or week or so of the Absolute Doom season, you could knock Doom's henchmen and you could, quote, give them a second chance. So you would be reviving them and they would join your team and fight alongside you. But the bad part is that you could only do it to one henchman. So if you had one henchman on your team, right, and let's say you killed another Doom henchman and you revived him, then it would have eliminated the old one and kept the one you just revived. So you could only have one per team, right? One on your team at once. So that was kind of the bad part about it. But it was still a cool mechanic. And we would have to get that to make it original, right? Um, but there's, all other sorts of things. I mean, we could get a boss device, like a huge boss device, like the Overlord Spire here. Um, we could get the Overlord Spire, but not the Overlord Spire. So it could be Doctor Doom, right? Or maybe Galactus would be also very cool. And you can set up his attacks, how much damage they do, etc. And you could basically just reenact the Absolute Doom event, right? How the Doctor Doom was in the center of the map, and how he had a global health bar, and everything like that. So that would also be very cool. And Galactus can change his size. Um, as seen in the newer Fantastic Four movie that came out not too long ago. I feel like it was actually a few months ago, I think, that it came out, actually. But it's still recent, somewhat. Um, Galactus in that movie, he starts big, and he shrinks down in order for him to come into Earth. So we could definitely get a Galactus boss device. so that you can spawn him in, customize his stacks, and everything else. So that would definitely be very cool and honestly very doable. If I've learned anything from Fortnite, that should be more than doable. Um, um, but there's a lot really um, that needs to be put into that um, kind of thing, or as kind of well, what's the word? Um, project, if you will. Um, I'm sure Fortnite would have to sign some papers and terms of agreements and stuff, like how they did with Star Wars Islands and everything else. Sorry, I I had a voice crack there. um, but that would be very doable. That would be very cool. Um, and I'm sure um, its entrance into Fortnite would probably make the community very happy, as that they can finally use Marvel weapons and things without um, needing to wait for a Marvel themed season to come out in Battle Royale. Um, but that's kind of just the main topic I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Epic Games and Mustard Plays, um, hopefully, um, Mustard Plays said that he was the brother, I believe, of Mustard, right? Donald Mustard, um, or something like that. And he said that he worked at Epic Games, I believe, for a duration of time. So I'm sure if Mustard wanted to, he could reach out to Epic Games and ask for the template. Um, has he done that? I don't know. Um, Mustard, if you see this, leave a comment on the video, please, and thanks. Um, but um, I hope that this video goes viral in some way, and I hope word gets out there so that we can have a Marvel Creative Island template in Fortnite Creative. Um, and one last thing, I know I mentioned that um, the guards should be knockable only in the Marvel Creative template, but I feel like they should be knockable in any template. Like we could have we could have options like in the functions tab. I'm sorry, no, in the options tab, all options, to where at towards the bottom where it's like drop inventory, um, and then there's everything else because down here is where the eliminations start to come in and everything. So down in that area, you could have a setting that's asking um, um, allow DBNO, and if it was put to yes, any guards from that device can be put into DBNO, regardless of DBNO in your island settings for players. Um, and if that setting was turned on, you would be able to customize it to your liking. You could set whether those guards can be revived by maybe allied guard teammates and or players of that same team um, as the guard. Um, you could change the revive time. Um, you could change, um, things like that and such. And in the functions tab, we could have it to um, enter DBNO when receiving from. So let's say a button, right? Whenever a button is pressed, this guard or all guards spawned from this device immediately get put into DBNO, um, or they become knocked, as some people use that term, because I guess it's kind of the proper term. Um, but Fortnite Creative Logic, they call it DBNO, or down but not out. Um, that's what DBNO means. Or I'm sorry, that's what it stands for. Um, and you could set, revive when receiving from. So again, a button. So you press it, and the guard or all guards that are knocked automatically get revived, right? And events, so you could do on DBNO, send event 2, or on knocked, send event 2. So that would trigger maybe a HUD message device, letting the player know that the guard is knocked, or maybe a sound effect plays whenever he's knocked, if it's a boss of some kind. And then you could do another one to on revived, send event 2. So again, HUD message device, or, some kind of sound effect or visual effect maybe. Um, but there's so much here that they could do. So Fortnite and Mustard Plays, please, I hope word gets out there so we can bring Marvel in Fortnite Creative and make it possible to create those epic maps that I'm sure people have been wanting for, honestly, years. So this is TCO. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is Levi signing off. Until next time, friends. Peace out.